So one of the real joys of cooking is improvisational cooking. And I'm going to make a chickpea salad. At this point, I don't know what's going to go in it aside from chickpeas. We're going to see what we have in the kitchen and see what we come up with. So here we go. Our cutting board here. I've got a can of Eden Organic Garbanzo chickpeas. It is a BPA-free lining in these cans, so I don't mind having a can of chickpeas from these folks here. Back in the old days, I probably would have soaked chickpeas overnight and then cooked them up, but these days, we're all eating on the run more, and we're making a lot of our eating decisions a lot more quickly. So having canned beans on hand is great. Just make sure your canned products aren't lined with BPA plastics, because that's nasty stuff. So we'll go ahead and drain these out. And we'll grab a bowl and drop the chickpeas in the bowl here. And I think I'm not going to mash the chickpeas into a paste, but I am going to kind of break them up a little bit. And I often do this when I use chickpeas, is just kind of break them down a little bit so that they're not whole chickpeas, but they're also, they're not mashed into something like you'd make hummus with. Oops. Sometimes they get a little crazy. Okay. So we've got that. A little onion might be nice. So we'll grab an onion here. And you plan on having a video at some point on knife skills. So we'll address that at some point. I always keep a little container around for my food trash. Just kind of makes it easy to collect everything, and then, whatever you're going to do with it after the point, whether you compost it or do something else. And I think we use probably about half an onion on this. And this onion's got a little stuff going on the inside here. It's been around for a little while, but that's okay. We'll just kind of take out some of the interior part there and peel off the outer skin. All goes well. There we go. And we'll kind of cut this onion up into some smallish chunks. When you're cutting an onion, if you can keep it together, now this one's lost a little bit of its core, so it's a little harder to do, but you can keep it together and kind of cut it geometrically, you can end up with a diced onion without a lot of that frenetic chopping that you see. See, I'm doing very easy, even strokes here, and what we're going to end up with is a nice dice with, without a lot of that, chop, 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 chop. So let's go ahead and add this to our salad mix here. And let's see what we have in the fridge. Well, I've got some organic broccolini that I got yesterday from our local veggie store. So I'm going to throw just a little bit of that in there just to add a little green color. Whenever you have salad, it's always nice to have something green and raw in there. Give everything a nice rinse. In fact, in general, when planning a meal with vegetables, if you think about vegetables in terms of ground, root, and air, you cover different kinds of vegetables. Your root vegetables are things like onions and carrots and other kinds of vegetables that grow in the ground. Your ground vegetables are things like squashes and cucumbers, and I know cucumbers are fruit for you botanists. Squashes, zucchinis, etc. Those are all, your ground vegetables. And the air vegetables are things that grow up, usually greens. Your things like broccoli, different kinds of greens like collard greens, kale. Those are air vegetables that grow up into the air. And You know, those are the kinds of things that generally make us feel lighter. So I'm going ahead and chopping up the broccolini, and I'm using some of the stem as well. You know, just chopping the stem pretty finely, because there's nothing wrong with the stems of broccoli or broccolini. They're all, you know, have good sources of fiber and other nutrients. So you might as well take advantage of them and throw them in there. So we've got some veggie ingredients in there, and I've got some garlic. So I'm gonna grab a clove of garlic, and we'll throw that in there as well. That's a big clove. There's that and that. Let's grab the garlic press. You notice I don't use a lot of electric instruments when I'm cooking. Occasionally, once in a while, you know, a food processor is just needed for a particular project. But in general, I like hand-operated things because it allows you to put your own energy into the food, and I think that's important. So we're going to go ahead and start cranking this up. This is a nice garlic press. I got it pretty recently from Williams-Sonoma, and it was about $20. It's got a crank mechanism, and you can just go ahead and kind of crank out the garlic here, and it produces a nice little bit there of crushed garlic. Kind of scrape that off with a knife. Grab a spoon and kind of mix this all up. The idea, of course, is to use what you have and try to mix some things in. And, you know, we're going to have some brown rice with this meal, so we've already got some carbohydrates put together. But the chickpeas are a great source of protein. We've got some vegetables that are mixed in here as well. So this is going to, between the brown rice and a little chickpea salad, and I'm going to steam a little broccolini as well. It's going to be a really great, well-balanced meal without a lot of trouble and with just a few ingredients. So now, just to kind of finish this off, I'm just going to put a splash of olive oil on here, and not a lot. You know, it's probably about a tablespoon, you know, for the whole thing. I'm going to throw in about a capful of tamari. This is low sodium, wheat-free tamari. And what do I feel like for seasoning today? We've already got some garlic in there. We'll throw in a little black pepper. A little more. And maybe a little cilantro. Add some more green to it. So let's go ahead and mix this all up. And voila! There is a really nice chickpea salad. It only took a few minutes to make, and it's got some really great ingredients, fresh ingredients, and it's wicked healthy.